Okay. Good to see everybody. Appreciate you coming out. The first thing is Hassan is back in town. He arrived with Cody Zimmerman late last night from Colorado. I have very little update as to his medical status. I mean, when you think of it from my perspective, it's, he's injured and he's not going to play. So I know that. In terms of the extent of his injuries, we are really still in the process of collecting all the information that was gathered in Colorado and making sure that our doctors here have all the test results and all that, and they'll continue to consult. I know he's worn out. He's tired. I spoke to him last night when he got back into town. Our main concern right now is making sure that, A, he feels well day to day, and B, that his academic life stays in order, that he doesn't miss a ton of school. The football part of it we'll worry about at another time, but we're not there yet. I'd like to say thank you to Coach Calhoun. The Air Force medical staff was helpful, and then Coach Calhoun and his wife Saturday night stopped to see Hassan at the hospital, which I thought was an incredibly classy move. We appreciate it. That's a difficult it was a difficult decision for me to make in terms of the decision not to stay in Colorado. I actually went back and forth on what to do, but I'm responsible for 100 and some guys, and I needed, knowing that we had one of our medical professionals with Hassan, I felt I needed to be with the team, and so Coach's presence there was helpful, and we appreciate it. I haven't had a chance to reach out to him personally yet, but I will before the week is out. I don't necessarily always agree with how they play and block and all that stuff, but when it comes down to it, that's the competitor in people. But there's some things that are more important than football, and this was one of those situations, and I very much appreciate the way that he handled it, and we're thankful. Leading up to the game, I implore our fan base, our students, our staff, everybody in town, it's senior day. We need a great crowd. We hope we'll have a great crowd to say goodbye to Cody for the last time, Brock. I mean, I could go on and on about the senior class, but it's their last time at home. It's a very meaningful football game against a rival who's tweeting out about how well their fan base is going to travel, and they'd like to turn Reno red. Our fans need to step up. I mean, I hear all the time from people tell me I'm a lifelong Pack fan. That's usually followed by, but here's what you need to do better. But we need all the lifelong Pack fans to be in the stands Saturday night. I'm hopeful that it'll be dry. As far as I know, we might get a little moisture in the morning, but it's supposed to be dry at night. And, hey, it's November in northern Nevada. It's going to be chilly. Dress warm. But I hope that we can have a great crowd. Senior Day is a little bit different this time around. Last year, Senior Day was the last home game of the season, and we were already eliminated from bowl contention, so you couldn't help but be in a little bit of a reflective mood. I'm not in a reflective mood, and frankly, neither are our players. We need to take the time to honor these guys for their last home game, and we'll do so. But we hope to play a lot of football beyond Saturday. So we're really not. I mean, people are going to say, what's Cody meant to the program? He's meant a lot, but I really haven't sat down and thought about how to articulate that because we got football left to play. Hopefully a lot more beyond this. So it's kind of a different approach than it was last year. The easy thing would be to look at Fresno's record and say they're not very good. The problem is they have very good players, and they're playing their best football right now. Clearly, at the beginning of the year, they struggled. The quarterback situation, I think they've played 3 guys this year, including starting a redshirt freshman against Wyoming and, leading up to the game saying, okay, we're going to make the switch, we're going to ride this guy, and it didn't even last the game. But you look at the San Jose State film, and you know that they had an extra week to get ready for us, and it's got your attention. They're flying around on defense. They're very multiple on defense. Another 3-man front where the pressures are going to be coming from everywhere. Burrell at quarterback. When they run it well, he plays well. When they don't run it well, and he's forced to, this is not Fresno of last year where you're getting 55, 60 passes a game. It's not. And frankly, the teams that have struggled stopping him are the ones that were under the assumption that it was. This is going to be a run-first team. Waller is a great back. They ran it for over 200 yards against San Jose State. They want to run it first. They're still using all the spread formations, but, you could dare them to run it last year, and they were chucking it, and rightfully so. 2 draft picks at receiver and an NFL starting quarterback. I'd throw it too. But the personnel has changed, and I think their personality on offense has changed as well. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge. They got a lot to play for. Coach DeRuiter was quoted in the Fresno Bee late last week that every game's a playoff game. He said, could you have ever imagined that, the season would come down to a game in Reno? I don't know quite how to take that. But he called this their Super Bowl. Well, that's a pretty bold statement, and I would imagine they'll be keyed up to play if that's how they're going about it. So we got to be prepared. And frankly, for us, it's a playoff game too. I mean, if you really want to be honest about it, it's a playoff game. So that's, we got to get back. I spoke yesterday at the luncheon about we can't let Air Force beat us twice. They beat us once already. Good for them. We cannot, whatever hangover exists, we got to get over and move on and move forward. And today's team meeting at 1 o'clock will be a big step, as well as practice this afternoon. So off we go. With that, I'll take any questions. There's no doubt they're far more dedicated to the run, and in my experience, a running back needs to get into the rhythm of a football game. It's hard to give the ball to a guy 6 times and expect that you're going to get incredible production. But he's improved too. He's much improved. I would tell you that when I really began to study them, I was shocked at how good he was. I didn't remember him being this good. A really good football player. I know he didn't play in the second half of the San Jose game with a shoulder injury, and the backup 20 got in there, but I expect that we'll see him. I have no reason to believe that we wouldn't.
How much different are they if he doesn't play?
They're different. He's a difference maker. They're still good and effective, but he is when people say who are the difference makers on Fresno's team, offensively he would be the first name I'd give you, and the second name I'd give you would be Harper, who has 3 times more production at receiver than any other pass catcher. So for us on defense, Waller and Harper and the quarterback are the points of emphasis.
It being senior day, I know you wanted to get Devin a shot and maybe some other guys as well get him out on the field. Has it been a little frustrating that you really haven't had that opportunity?
No, because I know who we are. We're not going to blow anybody out. I mean, we are. We're a really mentally, physically tough football team. We compete our tails off, but the thought that we're good enough to just blow the doors off of somebody in our league, it's not who we are. We're not there. So I'm not shocked that every game has come down. Just about every game has come down to the end, right? Some of them we come out on the good side, others we haven't. But I mean, short of even the Southern Utah game, we made it interesting at the end. Every game's come down to the end, so that's kind of who we are.
Are you thinking about trying to get him on the field?
It's something. No, it's something I've thought about. But I mean, I got him on the field at BYU. Did anybody notice? When we went into the victory formation, I made him the deep guy because he's got ties back to that school, and it was an important game for him. So I know who the seniors are. I know who will get into the game organically, and there's probably 2 or 3 that we might have to make a point of it. And how I choose to approach that will be dictated by how the game's going. I would like for every senior to be able to say, I stepped on the field and played my last home game. That's what I'd like to do. But winning the game is more important.
You like this senior class a lot, but it's not really a big senior class.
It was at one time, I think.
Can you just address there are obviously a handful of seniors on the team that are talented, but it's been more of a maybe
It's been guys who accept their roles.
and mental toughness
Yeah.
of the senior class, I guess.
Yeah, there's been they've been through a lot. They've been through a lot of transition. Chad Hartley pointed out to me yesterday that the year that they were recruited, it wasn't a great year around here. Pretty good, but not great, coming off of I guess what was a blowout loss in a bowl game, and I have a lot of appreciation. There's not a single guy in the group. There were a couple guys in the group that when I got here, I was told, hey, this guy's in the doghouse, this guy's in the doghouse. And a lot of those guys have been very easy for me. I mean, there were a bunch of people who couldn't wait to tell me what a goofball Kyle Roberts was. In the time that I've been here, Kyle Roberts has been a model citizen. He's changed his body in the weight room. He's gone from a player that I was worried about, would he be a liability, to a 2-year starter that's been very, very steady and productive. He's been easy in the classroom. He's done his jobs. Kyle Roberts, to me, has been a joy. Charles Garrett was a guy that they told me was a headache when I got here. Charles Garrett's been a walk in the park. I mean, there are guys that I've really enjoyed. I mean, I like Jordan Hanson. I love John McNeal. I would stand on the table for John McNeal anywhere. I love Cody. I mean, there are guys that we don't talk about. Gabe Lee. Gabe Lee's my kind of guy. The most disappointing part of this season was when Gabe Lee got hurt, because I think a little bit of our heart got taken away from us. Kendall Brock. Is there a more unselfish guy than Kendall Brock? Started at tailback last year. We moved him back to receiver. Told him, hey, your time's going to come. You're going to make plays. They're going to matter. And he never said a word. He did what was best for the team, and sure enough, over the last couple of weeks, you've seen him make plays that matter. You can go on and on. Nate McLaurin is a guy that nobody talks about. Your third back has got to be a low-maintenance, smart guy that if he has to go in there, that you won't skip a beat. Nate's been in there. You don't notice. He's been a good special teams player. I mean, Evan Favors. I mean, if I'm forgetting a name, I apologize. But this class is fun. They're fun to be around. I enjoy them.
The only guys that really contribute in that group is
Yeah, and I mean, I talk a lot about Matt and Hekking all the time. Hekking, everybody looks at him with the mullet and says, boy, that guy's just an individual. He's not. He's the biggest team guy I've ever been around. Just likes to wear a mullet, which I disagree with, but God bless him. Matt Gallis is one of the toughest guys I've ever been around. When we played Air Force in a really, really physical game in bad conditions. Matt's been playing hurt the whole year. We go out to run on Sunday night, and Matt runs. And if Matt comes to me and says, I'm sore, I can't go, he's done. I don't question Matt's toughness. Matt's out there running. It just symbolizes how much this means to him and how tough he is. So, yeah, I mean, this is just – I like this class, but I don't want to be done. I'm not in reflective mode. I mean, I want to play a bunch of more games with him. Just happens to be this is our last home one.
Going back to the front a little bit, do you know if there is a neck injury as well?
Nope, I don't. I have been given bits and pieces of medical information, but I'm certainly not going to try to offer any conjecture on this situation. I'm not the medical expert. Carol Scott, our team physician, who is fantastic, and Ben Anguish, our trainer, is one of the best I've ever been around. They're the experts. And if there's a point where we probably, where we need to put out a release as to what the exact diagnosis is, we'll do that. But to be honest with you, he only returned late last night, so our people have to look at all the MRIs and everything, X-rays and all the stuff that was taken. Yeah, we've made significant progress, actually. As we stand here today, I would say Hassan is the only guy that's definitely out. And guys that on Sunday night that I was worried about whether or not they might make it, we made significant progress yesterday. Matt Lyons won't practice today, but will practice tomorrow. So I think we're going to I'm fairly certain we'll have Matt Lyons back. So we are not no, Teray Callaway will be out. Teray Callaway has suffered a shoulder injury, and he'll be out this week for sure. Depth, safety, and special teams player. But other than that, I expect everybody else to be, they may not all practice at the same clip this week, but I expect everybody to be back. Out for Air Force, will not play. Or, excuse me, out for Fresno, yes. There were individuals in last year's senior class that bought into what we were doing, but I wouldn't say collectively. And I'm not sure I could necessarily fault them for that. I mean, you had some guys that had been here for a long time that they weren't asking for change in their senior year. That's difficult. This group collectively, as a group, has bought into everything that we are building, and they have been a positive influence on all the younger players. They have led not only by example but by active participation in leadership and grabbing younger players and helping educate them as to what the standards are. And I mean, they've meant a lot. And you can see that. You're seeing results. I mean, we won more games than we did last year. That is tangible results, and we're still not done, and I wish we'd be better than we are right now. But we are better, and we're better in large part because of this senior class. I don't know. I struggle with that one because is that to say that Coach DeRuiter didn't think the San Jose game or the San Diego State game was important? I don't understand that. I mean, we approach every game, and we'd like to look back at every game and say we did everything we could to win it. I mean, am I going to tell them that this game is more important than the Air Force game? I mean, we left our hearts on the field at the Air Force game. We didn't play well enough to win, but you can't say we didn't compete and leave our heart and soul on the field. So now I'm going to say, oh, but this one's more important. They're all important. They all matter. We acknowledge the fact that this has got consequences in relationship to trying to play for the conference championship. I understand that, but do I need to say that 20 times? I mean, the players know what's at stake. So we'll prepare the way we always do, as best we possibly can. They know what's at stake. That goes back to the Kevin Sumlin deal, where he knew my personality. And the week before we played Alabama, he came to me Sunday night and said, if you say the word big game to this team one time, I'm going to punch you right in the head. I mean, I don't have to say it. They know what's at stake. Do I need to get up and say, hey, guys, this is the Super Bowl? Come on. They know. So I think it's different because it's not the last game. I think we tell them, hey, it's okay to take a moment and take a picture with your family and be acknowledged that this is your last game at home, but after that, it's just another game. I've been a part of senior days that have gone bad. I was at a Notre Dame senior day where everybody was really, really emotional and riding that roller coaster, and then we got upset by a Syracuse team that was playing with a lame duck head coach, a game we should have never lost. It's because we allowed ourselves to be emotionally hijacked by senior day and all the stuff that goes along with it. We have a game to play. That's where our focus needs to be. And they know that. I think Wyatt Demps will play a much, much more increased role, and I think Kendall Brock will play a much more increased role. They'll both see more reps. In terms of who goes in at what positions, I'm not going to say that on camera. So.
You're 1 year behind the Reuter in your head coaching career. He jumped out with 2 straight conference championships, and then that kind of run. What does it say about the coaching profession, I guess?
That if you're going to get your first head coaching job, get one with an NFL quarterback and 2 draft picks at receiver. Honestly?
But it is a roller coaster kind of profession.
Yes, it is.
And you're obviously a very emotional guy. How do you balance trying to ride that roller coaster and not get too down when times are rough?
That is a great question, and that is something that I need to work on. I wonder, like after Air Force or after Colorado State or after Boise, I often will sit quietly and wonder, can I really do this until I'm 60, or am I going to drop dead, probably yelling at a linesman? You've got to find a way to find that even keel within the constraints of your own personality. I'm never going to be Tony Dungy. Tony's just got that poker face. I think times like Hassan's injury, sneaking away from the team hotel on a Friday night to go trick-or-treating with my 2 little ones, times like that will offer perspective, and you have to be willing to see it. I kid about Coach DeRuyter, but let's face it, he inherited a program that was stocked with talent, and then they did the job of coaching him, and they won 2 championships, and he's got the rings, and he deserves them. If that were me, and then you come back and you've lost all that big-time ability, and now you're trying to get it going again, that's going to take something out of you, I have no doubt. I can't speak for him. I know that after 2 years of really, really high-level success, but that's mid-major college football. Alabama can just keep reloading with 5 stars, and a down year they go 10-2. But in the mid-major world, when you have special talent and they go, it's not like you got another Derek Carr standing right there behind, which we've discovered this year. But that's the profession that we chose.
Do you feel for him this year?
No, I don't feel for him. He's got 2 championship rings.
No, but this year. And obviously this last win has put him in a decent spot. But after Wyoming, they looked like they were...
I don't know. I mean, if you'd asked him last year, do you feel for Coach Polian? I mean, we compete. We compete. I like him very much personally. I like his wife. Tim's a very good guy. You know, am I cheering for him to win 10 every year? No. We're in the conference. We compete against him. I mean, it's a competitive business. I want him to be well in his personal life. I want nothing but the best for his family, his children, all that stuff. But we're in a competitive business. So, anybody else?
Anything else to talk about?
Hey, did I say anything Coach DeRuyter's going to get mad about? That's all right. All right. Have a good one.
Questions for Brock? What do you see in this Fresno State offense this year?
You know, see a physical team. You know, this week of practice is extremely important. We're going to need the offensive line and especially the scout team running backs, to give us the best look as possible. These backs are very talented. They run the system very well. So, I mean, we're going to have to pay attention to the details this week.
The thought has to be in your head, and the defensive guy's head, that this isn't Fresno State of last year. They're not a top 25 team. How do you fight that? Obviously, that's not a good attitude to take into the game.
Yeah, absolutely not. And you ignore that factor. You look at the school. This is Fresno State. There's always a rivalry between Nevada and Fresno. You know, despite what a lot of people may believe, as a player, there is a strong rivalry between Nevada and Fresno. And if you look at that, you know, last year's team, they're extremely talented, but, you know, this year's team, they're talented in just different areas. You know, it's a different team, but the talent just, you know, like I said, switched positions.
How do you stop Waller?
You know, it's just going to be one of those things, sticking to the game plan, being gap and assignment sound, and just running to the ball.
Like getting a team like Fresno on, you know, your senior day and getting to have the long line?
Absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way. To have the stakes high on a day that, you know, is going to be memorable for all of us seniors, it's absolutely perfect. It's going to create a great atmosphere, a lot of competition, emotions will be out there. It's going to be a great game.
Did you get that the last time you were playing that?
No, not yet. You know, all of that's kind of a dream. You know, I've been here for 4.5 years now, and I feel like, you know, I'm still going to be here for another 4. So, you know, it'll probably hit me later on, but as of right now, I'm just preparing for a game.
What's your favorite memory of that game? 4.5 years.
That's a tough question. I think each season has its moments. For me this season, I think it was Washington State. Just that game, the energy, you know, it was a great game. Everyone was involved, and like I said, there was a ton of energy, a ton of enthusiasm, and, you know, came out with the victory.
Coach pointed out how much different this year, last year, senior day, final game, this year, still a game to play. How important is it to kind of temper the excitement and the emotion of that day, really focus on that game that's so important?
I don't think you have to, you know, temper anything down. I think, you know, it's just full tilt, full go for the rest of the season. I mean, you have to treat every play in every game, every practice, every lift like it's your last. Because, you know, for us seniors, it very well could be. You know, a twisted ankle, anything like that, at this point, you're done. I mean, there's a lot of us guys who, you know, you never know if you're going to continue playing football after this, so why hold anything back?
How important is the pack match, you know, the cold and rainy on late, and Fresno calling for, you know, 18-pound red? How important is it to get the fans up?
You know, I think by Fresno doing that right there, that should unite the city of Reno and this community to turn around and paint it blue. I mean, I want there to be, you know, 5-1 Nevada to Fresno fans, or 20-1, whatever it is. I don't want to see red up there. I want them to be in their little corner, and then I want the rest of that stadium packed, you know, silver and blue.
And then, like a lot of the bad guys, one of the actors is tracking tackle for off in the country, and it's surprising how many of them
You know, to be honest, I had no expectations and no limitations on, you know, what my football career would be. It's just one of those things that I put in the work every day, and I've been blessed with what's happened. I mean, it's just I took it day by day. It's not something that, you know, I aspired to, you know, do this and do that. It's just something that I wanted to do the best that I could every day to help my team, and I wanted to be the best player at my position on my team every day.
Their quarterback, Burrell, what do you see in him? What do you think you have to do to try to rattle him and make him excited?
You know, they've been through a couple quarterbacks so far this season, but him especially is just condensing that pocket and getting to him as fast as possible. They have a talented offensive line. I feel like they're strong in their run blocking. But as a defensive front, I think we had the advantage as far as pass rush. So if we get them off schedule and we get them into that 3rd and long, 2nd and long, we can take advantage of that and, help our DBs out and hopefully force a turnover. All right.
It's obviously a big game for me. Before the season started, people were asking, what's the biggest game on the schedule? Of course, everybody was saying Southern Utah, first game of the season. But for me, when the schedule comes out, I always circle that Fresno State game. Being a kid growing up there, it's always fun to play against the hometown dogs. Yeah, I mean, somebody would have told me that senior night, last game in Mackay, would have been against my hometown team. I would have told you were crazy. You couldn't have written a better storyline. UNLV, my first game, true freshman year, running out to the opposite side of the north end zone, thinking, what am I doing out here? At 18 years old, it's kind of shell shocking, to be honest with you, but it's something I'll never forget. Yeah, the 50-yard touchdown run I broke is going to go down as probably the greatest play of my entire life. It got pretty loud once I crossed the end zone, but then the Boo Birds came out, and I promised all my friends and family I would make that night something special and something to remember. Yeah. It's a huge deal, but it doesn't matter if there's 25,000 people there or 25. Our offense and defense have to execute and go out there and play the game that we love. We game plan for certain things that we see. Sorry about that. We game plan for things we see each and every week, but regardless of the yards that they've given up, they're traditionally a pretty good defensive team, and we have to prepare and go out and execute to the fullest.
As coach, that the last couple of weeks, you've made some very big contributions. How important is that to you now that you're senior and going out as well?
It's good, and if I was younger and this happened to me where I get moved from running back to receiver, I wouldn't quite understand it. But now that I'm older and more mature, I understand where my role on this team is, and when I get thrust into the game, it's my job to make something happen and give this team a new life, if you will. This last time around, not very hard because since I got here, it's been receiver, running back and forth. But this year, I have a better grip on how to play the receiver position, and it's not so technical anymore. It's more fluid for me, and I feel like I can play fast out there. I got lots of friends coming, lots of family, especially for senior night, and I know that my friends from Fresno are definitely coming in navy blue and not red. I'm approaching it as just another game. Fresno State is a roadblock on the way to the Mountain West Championship, and it's just another game to me, to be honest. I'm not going to let the emotions of my last game in Mackay get in the way. Just going to go out there fully focused and compete.
You talked a little bit about how last year maybe guys didn't buy in so well and didn't blame anybody, but that's part of the transition. What is the legacy of this season's class?
Just a tight-knit group. I mean, I'm not a part of this senior class, really. These guys came in the 2010 class, and they welcomed me, a 2011 guy, in full arms. And it's just a tight-knit group. I mean, we're close on the field and off the field. Me and Cody are co-captains of our slow-pitch softball team and dodgeball team, and we take that very seriously, and we like having fun on and off the field together. We've never lost. I throw harder than he does. No, he's pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. It's been hitting me for quite some while. It's just going to be a great feeling out there, playing with my team, playing with the seniors, Last game in Mackay, going out with a win. It's very important, because as I can recall, the last few senior nights we played here at home, we haven't won. I think the last one we won was Boise State back in 2010. We want to end that streak. And, knowing that it's Fresno State, it's another rivalry game, and they're in the way of our Mountain West Championship game. We just got to go out there and get ready to play. We got to take every day like we're getting ready to play, like we're playing the game. The change we see is like they're more downhill, With Carr, they sling the ball out to the great receivers they had last year and just let them go. And now, they have a great back in 33. He make people miss. And even the quarterback likes to get downhill and, he tries to run people over at times.
What do you think this team's positive impact on the program?
I think it's a big one, Over the years, a lot of seniors have came through. They have played this game, played their last game at Mackay. But I think this senior class is special. After last year's season, we all came together and we all vowed not to ever have to go through that again. Seeing the success that we're having this year, is great. And as seniors, we're going to continue to try to keep going. Yeah, I like the way we match up. Our front four, they're going to get after them, either run or pass. We got guys in the secondary that's going to cover, in the linebacker core. We're going to cover and we're going to come downhill to filter runs. So whatever they have in store for us, we're going to be ready for it.
Do you have to guard against being too emotionally charged and pumped up?
This game is very emotional, So yeah, there's going to be some emotions on my part, but, I'm going to try to control it. Favorite memory? Probably the UNLV game, Just experiencing a true rivalry, coming out of high school, seeing that, the state championship is real. And, that's just a great feeling. Nah, back in 2012.
No, he's just squirrely. He runs around. It's hard to hit him. He's like I've said before, the Johnny Manziel of dodgeball, where if he doesn't get a call his way, he'll make sure his presence is known.
Has it hit you yet? Last home game at Mackay?
I don't think it's going to hit me until I probably walk out with my family. It's been an unbelievable ride, unbelievable journey for me, and I just want to thank all the fans and all the people who have supported us, and I'm hoping for a big crowd. Obviously, what Fresno said is kind of a challenge for our fans to come out and show some support. And I know the conditions are going to be cold. I know it's going to be wet, but this team fought in worse conditions last week, so I'm hoping maybe they can come out and just show their support.
This team, or this class of impact on this program, there may not be a lot of super talented guys in the senior class. It seems like what you guys have done in leadership has been more impactful. Is that accurate? Can you about that?
Yeah, I think just the fact that we've kept a lot of our seniors. You know, you look at last year's senior class, and I think there was 3 or 4 guys from their original first recruiting class. You know, you look at our class, and a lot of our guys stayed around. So we've been with each other for 5 years, just getting to know one another in the locker room, getting to know what they like, what they dislike. And I think that worked for our advantage, kind of showing the young guys, hey, look, you're going to come here as a freshman, but you're going to have a chance to be able to play, you know, fairly early in your career, and you can have a pretty good career throughout the rest of your life.
How much difference do you see tonight as opposed to maybe one of these in the past? I mean, the potential for 3 more games after this?
Yeah, you know, that's probably the tricky part is you can't let your emotions take over just because you know that you have a chance to play 3 more games. And I'm kind of anticipating almost an emotional roller coaster. You know, I'm sure you're going to feel almost every emotion that night. And for me, just to kind of prepare myself and kind of talk with the seniors. And, you know, we had a meeting after practice again on Sunday. And I just kind of said, look, we've been through a lot together. You know, the last thing we want to do is just go out there emotionally and, you know, get held or not do what we want to do. So I just said, look, it's going to be emotional. Let's go out there and let's leave it all out on the line. And we got to get through Fresno if we want a chance to play in 2 more, 3 more games.
Is it a fine balance to try to want to lay it all out there and compete today, but also not get, you know, the senior night shadow?
I think so. It's hard for me to comment on that just because I haven't lived it. So I don't know as far as I'm just anticipating it and I'm kind of preparing myself for it. But like I said, I just don't want us to go in and get too emotional and then that affect our play. You know, I've had a lot of good memories, but it would be unfair to say one because I still have another game in Mackay. So I'm looking forward to this game, and maybe you can ask me that question after this game. Yeah, you know, the first couple of years, they were a little bit slower. And then now all of a sudden you blink and you're like, whoa, I'm a senior playing in my last game in Mackay. And so it's pretty emotional, and the guys have really rallied behind each other. And you can see this team, you know, there's something special about this team that we've been preaching all year. And just the fact that, you know, you got guys behind you in your last game, it's going to be a pretty awesome feeling. You know, the good thing for us is they're a lot like Air Force scheme-wise. So they almost have some same pressures, just different numbers, different players. They run around to the ball. They're a good defense. From what I've seen on tape is that they will make plays, and, you know, when they're up by a couple touchdowns, they'll start to get a little bit more aggressive. So we just got to kind of limit that and just continue to execute our game plan. But it's good for our offensive line, good for our skilled positions, just to be able to see the same defense almost 2 weeks, 3 weeks in a row. Yeah, you know, I've been talking with Dev a lot, just trying to get him in and talking with Coach Rollo because, you know, I think he deserves at least another snap. But unfortunately, the time hasn't came. And, you know, he's got a lot healthier throughout the season. You can see his knee. He's moving around a lot better. And so, you know, obviously, hopefully there's a chance either Saturday or against UNLV or somewhere down the line where he can get another snap.